In 2008, Dr. Richard E. Gallagher, a board-certified psychiatrist and associate professor of clinical psychiatry at New York Medical College, documented the case of a patient nicknamed Julia, whom he deduced was indeed possessed by demons. It's rare that a scientist and psychiatrist would acknowledge the possibility of possession. Typically, doctors think the possession is either fraudulent or a result of mental illness. Dr. Gallagher personally observed items flying around the room, Julia levitating off the bed, speaking in tongues, and knowing things about people around her that she could not have possibly known. Here is an excerpt from Gallagher's statement. Julia at first had gone into a quiet trance-like state. After the prayers and invocations of the Roman ritual had been going on for a while, however, multiple voices and sounds came out of her. One set consisted of loud growls and animal-like noises, which seemed to the group impossible for any human to mimic. At one point the voices spoke in foreign languages, including recognizable Latin and Spanish. Julia herself only speaks English, as she later verified to us. The voices were notably attacking in nature, and often insolent, blasphemous and highly scatological. They cursed and insulted the participants in the crudest way. They were frequently threatening, trying, it appeared, to fight back. Leave her alone, you'll be sorry, and the like. Julia also exhibited enormous strength. Despite the religious sisters and 3 others holding her down with all their might, they struggled to restrain her. Remarkably, for about 30 minutes, she actually levitated about half a foot in the air. Michael Taylor and his wife Christine lived in a small town in Great Britain called Ossett. The couple was very religious and had joined a Christian prayer group led by Marie Robinson. At one meeting in 1974, Christine Taylor accused her husband and Robinson of having an affair, which both people hotly denied. Michael Taylor then spewed obscenities and began acting extremely erratic and out of character, leading witnesses to think that he seemed possessed by evil. After months of crazy behavior, Taylor eventually consulted with clergy who performed an exorcism. The exorcism lasted for well over 24 hours, and the priest involved claimed to have removed 40 demons from the man's body. However, before he left, the priest warned him that the demon of murder remained dominant of his soul. As soon as Taylor arrived home, he brutally murdered his wife and their dog. He was later found wandering the streets, covered in blood. At his trial, he was acquitted by reason of insanity. In 1778, English tailor George Lukens claimed to be possessed. The man would often sing in a voice and language that was not his own. And finally, neighbours concerned by his increasingly frightening behaviour reached out to the church to help the man. Lukens was sent to a hospital for over 20 months, but doctors could not help him. His caregivers discharged him, even more convinced that his affliction was demonic in nature. During his possession, a very violent Lukens reportedly claimed that he was the devil, barked like a dog, and sang hymns backwards. In 1778, after Lukens claimed to be possessed by 7 demons that could only be driven out by 7 clergymen, the church got involved. 7 priests assembled at Temple Church, where they performed an exorcism. When the ceremony was over, priests claimed that the man had been delivered from the demons who possessed him. The 2005 horror flick The Exorcism of Emily Rose is scary enough, but that it was based loosely on a real-life alleged demonic possession makes it even more disturbing. The actual Emily Rose is Anneliese Michael, a German Catholic who at 16 years old was diagnosed to be suffering from temporal lobe epilepsy. She took medication for her diagnosed condition, but did not show substantial improvement. In fact, Anneliese soon began complaining about seeing the face of devils. 3 years later, she went on to describe hearing voices saying that she would rot in hell. That was followed by several episodes of Anneliese injuring herself, eating insects, and drinking her own urine, behaviour that convinced Catholic Bishop Joseph Stengel to allow the ritual of exorcism to be performed. Anneliese died in her home due to dehydration and malnutrition on July 1st, 1976.